virtues out of compassion for the sake of this assembly and all living beings. Please turn the wonderful Dharma wheel to teach us how to leave suffering, attain bliss and birth and death, and quickly realize non-birth. Cung tín đại đức tận tình, vì thứ pháp hội cấp nhất thiết chúng sanh. Tinh kiến diệu pháp luân giao đạo ngã môn, như há liêu sanh tự ly khổ đắc lạc, đắc chứng vô sanh. Homage to the Blessed, Noble, and Perfectly Enlightened One. Namo Sadanto Suche Doye Ola Hodi Sanmyo Sampu Tosye. Namo Tác Đắc Tha Toya Daya Harahade Tamya Tambo Da Toa. The unsurpassed, deep, profound, subtle, and wonderful Dharma in 100,000 million aeons is difficult to encounter. Now that I've come to receive and hold it within my sight and hearing, I vow to fathom the thus come one's true and actual meaning. Wu sheng 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 wei miao fa, bai jie wan jie nan zao yu, wo jin jian wen de shou chi, yan jie ru lai zheng shi yi. Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, Earth Store Bodhisattva, Venerable Shenhua, all good note advisors of Mitofo. Chư Phật Bồ Tát, kính thưa Địa Tạng Bồ Tát, hoặc thừa Thiên Hóa, quý vị thiện tri thức A Di Đà Phật. Chư Phật菩萨、地藏菩萨、师父上人，各位善知识，阿弥陀佛。Slide 1064, Earth Store Sutra lecture. So, okay, is there need of Vietnamese today? No Vietnamese then. Okay, no Vietnamese around. Again, in the past, indescribable some of aeons ago, a Buddha named Lion Roar, thus come one, appear in the world. If a man or woman hears this Buddha's name and single-mindedly takes refuge, that person will encounter numberless Buddhas who will rub his or her crown and bestow predictions of enlightenment upon the individual. 1067. Lion roar, thus come one. Lion roar is the analogy for the commonly used to describe the Buddha speaking Dharma, speaking the one vehicle Dharma, meaning the Buddha's vehicle Dharma. Okay, meaning that the earlier in his career, Shakyamuni Buddha spoke of the expedient dharmas, such as the Arhat Dharma, the Pratyeka Dharmas, and the Bodhisattva Dharmas. All those are different dharmas, but all those are for the sake of preparing to speak the one dharma, meaning that the vehicle of the Buddhas. Meaning is what is termed the actual Dharma or the true Dharma. Why is that? Because the truth is very scary. The truth causes fright in people. That's why he needed to prepare us gently, gradually, to understand the truth, the ultimate one vehicle, so that he can be done with his work. Initially, when he came to the world, the worldly Dharma is the highest level, is the externalist Dharma, where they reach 8th level of Samadhi, meaning the non-thought nor non-taught Samadhi level, 8th Samadhi. Okay, that's this incredible state where you are so near emptiness, you dwell in emptiness, and you have so few attachments left, and it's not that easy to reach that state. Okay. However, once you reach there, the one thing that still remains is the existence of a self. Okay? Without the proper understanding, without a proper knowledge, there's no way to break through that. Why is that? Because all knowledge of the world is based on that self, that conscious mind. It says it's the conscious mind that wants to know. And therefore, when the conscious mind, when you rely on the conscious mind, the thinking mind, to learn and to know, then the highest level you can reach is 8th level of Samadhi, period. The thinking mind I'm referring to is the mind that you use right now to understand, right now. The mind that gives you so much joy, so much confidence in yourself, so much faith in yourself. That very mind is a mind that ultimately stops you dead in your track. You have no way of escaping beyond that. Okay, so what happened is the worldly knowledge is a knowledge where people accrue knowledge, okay, for the sake of progress, for the sake of improvement, without realizing that if you don't prepare when you reach the highest level based on that thinking mind, you will be stuck. And by then, it's very difficult to get out of. Okay, and so the Buddha then, he realized when he became enlightened, he realized that his 5 disciples, his 5 attendants, he was cultivating in the what do you say that in English? The deer park. Okay, the deer park. Those 5 disciples have reached pretty high state, high level of samadhis. So he had to use, and when you reach those levels of samadhis, folks, one thing that you don't realize is that there's something very subtle. The self manifests in a form of self-complacence, in terms of being self-satisfied. Okay? You're so proud of yourself. And therefore it's very difficult to break through, because and therefore the Buddha explained about the Agama Dharma, meaning he spoke about the 4 Noble Truths. And so that's called an expedient because it brings those externalists to the next level of liberation, meaning to be liberated from their self, from the conscious mind. Okay. So that's the first expedient. It's called the sound hearer's vehicle. And then for next level, he taught the Pratyeka Buddha vehicle, where it's a higher level wisdom based on the 12 conditioned links. And then beyond that, he prepared them with the Prajna Dharma, or Vipulya Dharma, which is basically a connective Dharma that tells them, listen, even though what you experienced so far, what you accomplished so far, the sound hearer Dharma and Pratyeka Buddha Dharma, conditioned enlightened dharmas, are incredible. But actually something more important, okay, called, let me prepare you to go to the next level, meaning the third vehicle, the Bodhisattva vehicle. And that's how all those vehicles are basically expedients for him to finally prepare us to hear of the one final vehicle. It says, all these attainments you accomplished so far are wonderful, but something that is ultimate called Buddhahood. And here's the way you can attain it. Okay? And that's explained in sutras like the Lotus Sutra, where he taught us how to become a Buddha. Okay, that's called the final vehicle, the one vehicle, the Buddha vehicle. And when he spoke the one vehicle, that is referred to, be very clear about this, because we hear a lot about the analogy of a lion's roar of the Buddha speaking Dharma. Actually, lion's roar refers to when he spoke of the one vehicle Dharma. Okay, when the lion roars, all the other animals are frightened. Okay, when the Buddha spoke the one vehicle Dharma, he subdues all the externalists. Everyone is frightened. Okay, yeah. I remember this week when I went over to the guy who at the TV station who was very well read on books, when he asked me questions about the Chan questions. You know, all these Vietnamese, they are well read on the Chan text and the Chan books from the patriarchs. So he quoted one patriarch after another. He says, "This is how Chan is like." I said, "No. It's not quite like that. It's not what he meant by that." And the guy was shocked. He says, "What do you know?" Basically, he didn't say that, but basically in his mind, he says, "I'm the one who's read all these books for these decades. So I'm the one with the knowledge. You've been a monk for 15 years only. What do you know? How many books have you read?" And when I tried to explain things to him, he was offended. He was because the ego gets in the way. He says, "I know everything already. You cannot threaten me." The truth is very, very damaging to the ego. This is why the ego recoils from hearing the truth. When you still have an existence of self in you, then that self is threatened by the truth. Very difficult to get to you. This is why the Buddha, after he became enlightened, he says, "These guys are too difficult to teach. They will not listen." So he refused to teach, by the way. He says, "It's too difficult. These guys has no way of understanding what I'm talking about." Why so? Because whatever I say will be intercepted by their egos. And whatever I say is designed to destroy the egos. And therefore, the Buddha said, "There's no point in teaching them because I can't. They will not believe me." Okay? That's why when a lion roars, all animals are frightened. When the Buddha speaks the truth, when the truth is being spoken, it represents a threat to our egos. So anyway, if you hear of this Buddha's name and take refuge with a lion roar, the scum one, then you, in the future, will meet with many Buddhas who will bestow predictions of Buddhahood on you. What does it mean? It means that Buddhas do not bestow predictions of Buddhahood, by the way. Nhớ rằng, I don't need to translate anymore. Today, it's my day off, I guess. Vietnamese day off. To take refuge with a particular Buddha here okay, will plant the seeds for you down the road to be able to draw near Buddhas. That's what it means. Okay, it's not so much about their prediction. Think about it. Can we encounter a Buddha right now in our Dharma ending age? No. Probably most likely not in our lifetime. Okay. And so to be able to receive a prediction, meaning that the Buddha speaks Dharma to you, and then they say, okay, in down the road in the future, during this time period called the Aeon so and so, you will become a Buddha name so and so. Your lifespan will be so and so. Your Dharma ending, proper Dharma age will last so long. Dharma image age will last so long. Your Dharma ending age will last so long, and your world will be called so and so. Okay, so that's what you call a prediction. It says ahead what kind of Buddha is going to be like. Okay, not only by one Buddha, you'll be meeting a lot of Buddhas. Think about it. Okay. You meet a lot of Buddhas, that means that you have a chance to become a Buddha a lot faster. Buddhas will not waste your time. Okay, you meet a Buddha, the Buddha will find ways to teach you the best Dharma possible for you. If you meet a lot of Buddhas, then you'll be learning a lot of wonderful Dharmas. Okay, any questions? 1068. Again, in the past, a Buddha named Krakuchana appeared in the world. If a man or woman hears this Buddha's name and sincerely beholds, worships, or praises him, that person will be the great Brahma king, the assembly of the 1,000 Buddhas of his auspicious aeon, and will there receive a superior prediction. Krakuchanda is Sanskrit that translates into should sever, okay, or could also be translated as adorn. When anyone hears of this Buddha's name, meaning as a mind karma, and beholds and worship means body dharma, or praises means mouth karma. If all three karma shows utmost sincerity, they will plant the proper causes for realizing the Buddha nature. And for this act of sincerity, for this act of faith, you become a great Brahma king. Meaning, what's a great Brahma king? The great Brahma king is the God king in charge of the first dhyana heavens. He's the boss of the Christian God. Christian God has to take orders from him. Okay? So, you'll be a great Brahma king, and during the worthy aeon of these Buddhas. The aeon, the worthy aeon is the name of that particular aeon, during which 1,000 Buddhas appeared in the world. That's our time right now, the worthy aeon. So far, 4 Buddhas appeared already. Now we still have 996 Buddhas to appear in the world during this worthy aeon. The aeon, the world, divides into decay, emptiness, realization, and dwelling. Okay, and right now we are during the dwelling kalpa. Okay, so we still have quite a ways to go yet. Okay, after dwelling, then you become to decay. After decay becomes emptiness. Okay, and Shakyamuni Buddha is the 4th one. In the Abhidharma Shastra, this during this particular dwelling kalpa, you have 8 small kalpa have already passed, and we have 11 more left. Right now we're on the 9th. Okay, a small kalpa. That's during this time where Shakyamuni Buddha accomplished the way. Buddhas only appear when conditions ripen, and meaning that there's work for them to be done. All right, any questions? 1073. Again in the past, a Buddha named Vipassana appeared in the world. If a man or woman hears this Buddha's name, that person will eternally avoid falling into the evil path, will always be born among humans and gods, and will experience unsurpassed, wonderful bliss. Remember this Buddha named Vipassana. You hear his name, will never fall in the evil path. Okay. Vipassana is a Sanskrit for victory. I'm sorry? Victory contemplation. Okay. I'm sorry. It has two parts of Vipassana. Vipassana has two components. People, meaning vipa, meaning victory, and sin, meaning contemplation. So victory contemplation, victorious contemplation. Okay. Or manifold contemplation, meaning many kinds of contemplation. And therefore, this Buddha here teaches about contemplating of our mind. Okay? I have a lot of typos here. Okay. He teaches to contemplate the mind. Okay. In the mind here is often associated with the heart when it's translated into like the Heart Sutra and so on. It came from the concept in Chinese where the Chinese character for mind is such, has many dots, has 3 dots and a hook. The first dot represents emptiness. Meaning that everything that your mind conceives of is empty. Okay. Therefore, the mind, because everything that enters the mind is empty, it has unlimited capacity to store all dharmas. Okay. That's why our hard drive is unlimited. Okay. The obstructions, our difficulties in life is due to the fact that we see these dharmas as not empty. That's what causes problems for us. That causes us to be stuck. That causes us to be afflicted. Okay? You take these dharmas, these things you see with your mind, you're able to conceive of with your mind, are real. Therefore real, therefore you're stuck. You allow them to cause problems for you. You allow them to bind you down. You allow them to obstruct you. Okay. The second dot, okay. So the first dot represents the emptiness contemplation. You should see everything as empty. Anyone can see that? Everything is empty by nature? Everything is empty, yeah. Okay, thank you. A man after my own heart, yes. Yeah. It's that easy, isn't it? Huh? How do you know it's not empty? It's not empty because you cannot put it down. You cannot let go. Then you know you're stuck right there. Okay? That's the starting point, by the way, when you cultivate. The first level of attainment is that you're able to put down things. That's emptiness. You could see things as empty, then you can put them down. Okay? Once you put them down, then you take one step further. Okay, this is not clearly explained anywhere in the books. You can read 1,000 books. I've read 1,000 books. It's not described anywhere. Okay? Once you can put down things, as empty, then the next thing for you to do is, that's the second dot, contemplation of the world, of the mundane, meaning of the world. What does it mean? You see, don't think that cultivation means you have to look at everything as empty, therefore they're not real. No. They're both empty and real at the same time.
Empty, but they're still there.
But you see, okay. This is a man who understands. This week I went to another temple, paid visit to a Hershang, Vietnamese Hershang. He has a PhD from Japan. 2 years behind Venerable Sheng Yen in Taiwan. Anyone knows about Venerable Sheng Yen? Thánh Nghiêm. One of the 4 major, most famous monks in Taiwan. He passed away recently at the age of in his 80s. He got a PhD from Japan. So this Vietnamese Hershang here got a PhD from the same university, 2 years behind this Venerable Sheng Yen, Taiwanese monk. And so he's an intellectual. He's very smart. And he, I talked to him, and he's very kind. He's in his 80s, and we came, and he was doing his lunch, and after lunch he went and spent time with us, me and I and the 3 bhikshunis, and he spoke Dharma to us for an hour. Okay, he's not doing well. He's just had bypass surgery. They took his blood, his veins on his legs, and for the 4 bypasses. So he wasn't well, but yet he spent an hour speaking Dharma to us. By the end of an hour, we noticed he was getting tired, so we took our leave. On the way out, we ran to one of his called friends, a Caucasian guy, okay, who stopped by the temple to bow to the Buddhas. And then we were all offered yogurt and fruit to eat and tea to drink. And so we got to meet with this guy, because the Hershang insisted that we should have some yogurt and fruit before we leave. This is about 2 or 3 in the afternoon. Okay, so we politely sat down and talked to him, and that guy walked in. He's a very interesting gentleman. He spent when he was younger, in his 20s. This gentleman is in his 50s. He spent 2 years in India, lived in an ashram. And he says, that's the best time of my life. And now he likes Buddhism because he says, what I learned from Hinduism, I'm a devout Hindu Hindu believer, and I believe Hindu teaching and Buddhist teaching is the same. I said, how are they the same? He said, Hinduism, we believe that they're God and they're for real. Buddhism says that everything is empty, okay, but I think both are true. God exists, and also they're also empty as well. I said, you're right. Okay, impressive, isn't it? Yeah, does not believe in Buddhism. Okay, he only believes so because to justify why he should be paying respect to Buddhist deities. Same exactly you just said. They both exist and do not exist. Okay. He says, he recounted to me that when he was in India, long time ago, he was meditating and he saw himself in the midst of the ocean. And he became empty, as infinite as the ocean. That experience there influenced him the rest of his life. So the rest of his life now, he devoted to reciting 5 or 6 Hindu mantras every single day. He says, that's going to be my lifetime work. So I started talking to him, yeah, you're right. All the emptiness in Buddhism is different. It's not quite the same that the way you think. I tell you how to get there. I mean, in Buddhism, the concept is empty, but there's a way to get there. Okay? Knowing it's empty is not enough. You have to walk the walk. You cannot simply talk the talk. You have to walk the walk. And you have to be there until you get there. Then you know what emptiness is realized. Cannot be described by words. We only describe to you as empty right now because for you to realize there's something, a direction called emptiness. But the words I use, I can spend as long as I like to describe it to you. There's no way for you to grasp it. No way. It's something you have to experience. Okay? So be very careful about that. Okay? Be very careful about it. Once you know it's supposed to be empty, you have to walk until you reach that point of emptiness. Is that clear? Okay? Once you reach that point of emptiness, okay? So this guy here is so very far from away from it, and yet he thinks he knows that because I already agree with him that it both exists and both empty, and see he knows about it, and therefore he knows about emptiness. Logically, right? Not so. You know it's empty, and yet you're not there yet. You haven't experienced yet. For example, this morning I talked about the bliss that one group experienced from the visitors from the Western Bliss Pyramid. The bliss right there is out of this world. All the fun you have experienced here is nowhere compared to it. All the God's pleasure in our world, all the pleasure they experience, is nowhere near the bliss from Western Bliss Pyramid. Nowhere near. Okay? And that's what I use to describe words to you. That's all I can do. Until you experience it, you don't know what I'm talking about. You have to be there. You have to feel it to know about it. Okay? Once you experience emptiness, then you have to take a step further, the second dot. You then contemplate the mundane, meaning you have to go back to the world. The arhats, Prateka Buddhas, once they experience emptiness, okay, then they say, okay, I'm liberated. I don't need it anymore. I don't need to go back to the world anymore. That's where they're wrong. Once you experience emptiness, you have to go back to the world for you to be able to learn that there's so much more about emptiness. Okay? By contemplating the mundane. Mundane meaning that everything around you, everything in the world is also empty. So, for example, if I say, I say you have to let go, okay? I don't mean that you have to say that the other person is a bad person, or the dog is not real. What I say let go is that you yourself have to decide to detach from that. You don't need to put a negative value or lower the value of the individual or the living being in question. What we mean by that, you have to let go. You yourself have to let go. Does it make sense? It's not about the other person is not worth it. It's about you being able to disengage, to disengage from it. Okay, to regain the clarity of mind. Okay, it's not a judgment on someone else. Is it clear? That's the first dot.
Yeah.
Right? You're not saying it's bad. You're not saying the ước is bad. Okay? Very important point, because the first dot is that you yourself have to let go, because you realize that your attachment is nonsense. Is it clearer now? Sometimes you have to use experience by saying, okay, he's not worth it. It's a dog. Okay? But actually, that experience is to allow you to let go internally. Does it make sense? So don't get me wrong. When I say sometimes I talk to people and say, throw him out because he's not worth it. Actually, and he said, what do you mean? I thought you were a kind person. Have you no compassion? Of course I have no compassion. But actually an expedient. That's what the Buddha did, by the way. Expedient. To help people experience the Agama Dharma. But that's not enough. See, this is so often misunderstood by the Buddhist researchers. Okay? They don't understand that in order for you to reach the first dot, to experience the first dot, meaning your mind is empty, okay? They have to use experience by placing a value, supposedly placing a value on whatever you're so attached to. Ước says, wait a minute, I like my life. You can't convince me to let go of my life. Yes.
So the first thought is really turning inward.
Yes. That's right. You turn inward. Whatever, it's not about the dog. It's about your attachment to the dog. And therefore, the expedient, Kim, is that you say the dog's not worth it. Actually, it's not worth attaching the dog. That's what it means. But it sounds like the dog is not worth it. Is it clear? It's real. How can you say it's not real? It's blood and sweat. That car is blood and sweat. Okay, now, so once you attain the ability to let go, okay, because you realize your attachment is nonsense. Any kind of attachment you form, you allow yourself to form, okay, is nonsense. Anything. All attachments are nonsense, including nephews and nieces, including mother and father. In particular, husband and fiancés and girlfriend and ex-wives and you name it. Any kind of attachment is only a construct of the mind. We decide arbitrarily is this important. Is it clear? That's the first dot. So far, so good? Okay? That's the meaning of the emptiness of the self. How can you say the self is empty? The self is there. How can it be empty? Empty meaning empty itself of all attachments. That's what it means. Is it clear?
So what's the relationship between attachment and responsibility?
attachment and responsibility, they don't have to exist at the same time. You can be responsible and yet not be attached to it. Does it make sense? Does it make sense to you, Randy? You can be responsible and not be attached?
I think attachment is a die-hard to a certain, your mind is stuck on a certain kind of outcome. You have to do it no matter what.
That's right. Precisely. Precisely. Okay. You give it. See, this is what Randy, this is exactly what Master, our teacher says. Try your best. Try your best. That's it. He doesn't say succeed. You give it your all. Give it your best. That's all you have. When you give it your all, whatever happens, happens. You're done. Does not mean you are irresponsible.
Because succeed is really depend on the definition.
Depends on who looks at it. Yeah. You work so hard, you bring home the fat paycheck, and might say, is that all? What do you mean it's not all? Is that all? Right? So yeah, it's an attachment. You place a value on that. Right? You put a price. You put a valuation. You evaluate it. Not necessary. Okay? All right. Is it clear? The first dot. See, this is so misunderstood. This is why people think that we shun the world and we are unrealistic. Okay? Because we never have the chance to explain to you properly what emptiness of self really means. Emptiness of the self means that you can let go of anything, of all attachments. Okay? But once you're able to have that at the level of detachment, that level of disengagement at will, is that clear? Okay? Then you have to face reality. Then you're able to face reality. That is dot number 2. Because if, like the example of the Hindu guy I mentioned earlier, he's not ready to face reality yet. How can he be saying that God is real? He hasn't been to the emptiness of the self yet. So he's confused. Like you are confused when you say they're both the same. Of course they're both the same. They both exist and do not exist. But there's a way to get there. There's a way to experience it. Okay? So dot number 2 is that now you're able to let go. Then you're able to engage back again. What for? What for, Kim? What for? You have to engage back again to see your subtle attachments that you cannot see. See, when you experience when you thought you're able to disengage, it's on a limited amount of input. Okay? Well, that alone is beneficial to you. This is why the arhats, they isolate themselves. They go to the mountains. They go to the deep valleys when no one's around. So all the interaction they have around them is very limited. That enables them to be able to detach. Learn how to detach. Okay? That's a skill you need to have. But once you have that skill, once you know how to detach, because that's not easy in itself. Even in a limited amount of data,
that the arhats have to deal with in seclusion there is overwhelming already. Okay? But it's under control. Once you learn how to do that, you develop the skills, the samadhi power to let go. Okay? You have to cross the wall before you know what it's like. You know, before you have the skills to cross back and forth. Okay? Now, after you experience the other side, you've seen the other side of the world, the wall, and you know how to get there. You develop the skills to get there. Now you have to go back to the world. Now you have to get engaged again. Because you're exposing yourself to many more data inputs, much more overwhelming. See, bodhisattvas are not that dumb. See, if you only limit yourself to a narrow sphere of existence, then you're safe, right? But then you don't know what the rest of the world is like. You're useless. You can only have so many people in that small sphere influence. The bodhisattvas, they have much deeper, vaster vows. He says, this is not enough for me. I'm safe right now. I can go back here and be safe here anytime I want to. Is it clear? You're safe. You found safety already. You obtained safety already. You obtained security already. Anytime you can go back to it. It's still fun. It's a much wider world out there. So they step back into the sea of birth and death. To experience what? Insecurity. To experience danger. Believe it or not. Does it make sense to you? Because when you engage again, what happens is that now all your enemies come and besiege you. They say, ha ha, here you are. Now it's our chance to get back at you. So all your confusions and all your ignorance are now exposed. All your enemies are showing their face. Are showing up. If you do not confront them, they will never go away. Agree? The enemy never gives up. They have to be convinced that they can no longer harm you before they give up. Agree? And that's what the bodhisattvas do when re-engaging. Okay? So what happens is that when you re-engage, all these heavy attachments, subtle attachments, manifest for real. And you can't let go. You're so attached to your parents. You're so attached to your wife. Because why? You're so attached to your teacher. So, okay? Now, what you have to learn is that everything out there is really false. Now we're talking about reevaluation, folks. If you can look at your parents, look at your mother, and see her as empty, that's the second dot. Is it clear? No. See, right now, first dot is that you look at your mother, you says, I can let go. I can let go of you. That's the first dot. Is it clear? Second dot is that you look at mother, you can let go already. Okay? You can let go. Okay? But you see her as empty as well. Is it clear? Meaning it's truly empty, it's nothing there. Because once you experience yourself as empty, you flip the table around from the other. If you put herself in her position, she's also empty if she were to look at herself. There is the first dot. Okay, very good point. The first dot is that there's nothing that attaches to. Is that clear? That subject is empty. The attacher is empty. Is that clear? The second dot is that what you attached to is empty. The object becomes empty. Does it help? The first dot? Because intrinsically, you yourself is empty. Therefore, it has no attachments. If you're empty, how can you attach? There's nothing that can attach. This is what the Chinese says 能所, meaning the object, the subject that can attach is empty. Okay? Now, the second dot is that you go back in the world, you say, okay, you are real, this is real, okay? Okay? This is real. Because I recognize that you are real temporarily only. You will also disappear eventually. But I cannot see that. All right? It's kind of difficult for you right now because you have not to the first dot yet. So, but anyway, once you get to the first dot, second dot becomes more meaningful, more reachable. Okay, and then and that's the second dot where that guy talked about being empty, being real at the same time. That's the meaning. You go back and you re-engage, and you recognize that the world is real. Real in what sense? Real to you. Real to the people who are confused. You cannot say that just because I'm not confused, that means that your confusion is not real. Your confusion is real to you. You cannot say that if you disregard others' confusion, then you cannot help them. You learn to experience their confusion when you're in their shoes, and yet you're not confused. Okay? So what happened in the second dot is that you really engage, become confused, to learn to disengage yourself from the confusion. The third dot, finally, the third dot is that you realize is that the middle road where one side says everything is empty, the other side says everything is real, in the second dot, okay? The middle road is at the third dot, where it says middle contemplation, where it says it's both at the same time. They both exist at the same time. That's only Mahayana. can you have this understanding. That's why it's called middle way. Middle way is that one side believes is empty, one side believes is real. Middle way is that it's both at the same time. Both empty, both real. Then you can really help. Questions? If you can see that, you can see the simultaneous existence and non-existence, then you see what is called the truth or the real mark. See, the arhats and Prateka Buddhas cannot see the real mark yet because they only see emptiness. They don't see it as being true. So they can't help you. So the Bodhisattvas, they go back and they look at your attachment as true to you. They put themselves on your shoes to understand why it's so confusing, why it could be confusing to them as well. Okay, and they detach from that, and then finally, ultimately, they combine the two. Said they finally understand that they both are real and both are non-existent. And that is the ultimate wisdom. That's called enlightenment in Buddhism. Not an easy thing to attain, folks. Very difficult. It's hard work. You have to cross your legs for a long, long time. Let me put it that way. More than 1 hour a day. Okay. All right. Any questions? Is that what this slide here says? See, I'm looking for this slide for a long, long time, so I don't even remember. Okay. So what happened is that let me summarize. First dot of emptiness says that I see emptiness. Okay, I can detach. And second dot says I see everything is for real. Okay. The third dot says that they're both real and empty. Therefore, that's truly true. That's true existence. That's true emptiness. That's wonderful existence. Okay? All right. So these three contemplations are the dharmas that is performed, especially in a Chan school, where it's very well documented. But unfortunately, most people don't quite understand how to do it. Okay, these three contemplations, because most people never realize, never accomplish the first one, the emptiness contemplation. Leave alone to contemplate the real, the mundane meaning the real world. Okay, and actually, this Dharma here, these three different contemplations, are ultimately designed to bring you truly true understanding. So this particular Buddha here, he became a Buddha by the Dharma of contemplating, these contemplation of the mind. Okay, and this is how people become Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, and Buddhas by using these three contemplations. Okay, and this is not like the Arhat Dharma, where I can explain things to you and suddenly you understand. This is something that you have to put in a groundwork. You have to jump back into the mud to do contemplation number 2. Okay?
Any questions? So merely hearing or reciting the names of these Buddhas, living beings, will not fall into the hells, the hungry ghosts, and the animals realms, because they realize that they should do no evil, and if they continue to do wrong, they will fall into the hells. In fact, it's funny. It's funny that that gentleman I mentioned is that Vietnamese TV station interviewing. His father passed away a couple of years ago, and his father was in a coma, and he was in a coma for a long time. And when he was in a state of coma, if he had stayed in a state of coma, he would have been gone down to the animal realm. And all of a sudden, this is where part of why he believes so much in Buddhism. Some kind of responses occur, and his father awakened and told him that he saw Wan Yin Bodhisattva coming and telling him, "Are you ready? When you're ready, I will come and bring you back to Western Bliss Pure Land." What his father said when he woke up. So, bringing that person out of a coma state raises his chance of rebirth to a higher realm. Okay? Because when you are in a state of coma, you don't know any better. There's the same concept here. If you don't realize it, you cannot fix it. Okay? If you don't realize it's wrong, you will continue to do it. And you just sink deeper and deeper into trouble. Okay? All right? Any questions? 1079. And these hearing this Buddha's name will, the listener will experience unsurpassed, wonderful bliss. So hopefully, if people listen to this today's lecture, maybe they will be able to experience unsurpassed and wonderful bliss. They'll be born in heaven and human realms to experience the joy of Dharma and the bliss of Chan. Okay, meaning that you see in heavenly realms you are constantly in samadhi because of your blessings. But human realm, then you're able to learn Chan and experience the bliss of Chan. All right. In the Shastra called in a Shastra, the Buddha said a poem. He says, not being sick is the best benefit. The most beneficial you can get is not to get sick. To know contentment is the best wealth. To know that you have enough, then you're so wealthy. Does it make sense or not? See? Go back to the sickness as the most beneficial thing. All the gains you get, you cannot take advantage, enjoy those gains unless you're healthy. Right? What happened is that we spend our lifetime accruing gains at the expense of our body, the expense of our mental health. So by the time we're rich, we're so old, our body is so broken, then the wealth is meaningless. All those benefits are meaningless, right?
And the reason we keep on, there's a typo here as well. The reason we keep on accruing wealth is because why doesn't it recognize these words? Never mind. Okay, it's because you keep unless you know contentment, you keep on feeling it's not adequate, not enough. You keep on trying to hoard. Okay. Therefore, it really means that you haven't been to the side of being rich yet. Because you're that rich, you should feel is adequate. Okay. Number 3, a good friend is the best relative. Okay. One of the student here, I taught her how to do Chan. She would do Chan for 2 hours, and she had all these funds, and she has some problems. Ask her relatives, the family says, "Why are you cultivating?" "We're not cultivating." "What for?" "Why do you cultivate?" And now she dropped cultivating. She just not even recite the Buddha's name. Completely dropped out. Okay. So usually your obstructions come from those closest to you. Okay. So good friends are the friend that you spend time with are the best relative you can rely on. Okay. Number 4, nirvana is the blessed bliss. Okay. The bliss of nirvana, folks, okay, is even better than the bliss of the Western Bliss Pure Land. From what I've seen so far, the Western Bliss Pure Land is by far the best bliss there is. But it's nothing compared to the bliss of nirvana. Okay? Any questions? Why is that?
I don't understand what nirvana is.
Nirvana? The nirvana is a state of understanding. You understand the principles of true emptiness and wonderful existence. Okay? You really understand it. You really experience it. Okay. It's quite a ways. Because that state basically says that, see, the bliss of the Western Bliss Pure Land is still a bliss you're seeking for. Okay? That attachment of seeking for that wonderful bliss, because it's the best one you've seen so far, prevents you from experiencing the ultimate bliss of no longer seeking it.
What level of being can experience that nirvana?
You can be a bodhisattva and experience it. Yes, you can experience it. Questions? All right. 1080. Again in the past, as many aeons ago as there are grains of sand in limitless and boundless numbers of Ganges rivers, a Buddha named Jewel Victory appeared in the world. If a man or woman hears this Buddha's name, that person will never again fall into an evil path and will eternally dwell in the heavens, where he or she will experience unsurpassed, wonderful bliss. Jewel Victory does come one. Jewel Victory is jewel here refers to
the transcendental jewels, meaning that represent these four virtues of nirvana, permanence, true self, bliss, and purity. Okay, meaning when you questioned earlier about you don't understand about nirvana. Nirvana is that at that point in time you experience permanence, no more changes. You see there's no more changes. You experience true self. You see that. You see your Buddha nature. Your real self is the Buddha nature, not the one you attached to right now. And you cannot let go. Okay. And then you also experience bliss. That's what bliss I is referring to. The bliss you experience in nirvana is indescribable. Okay? And then you experience purity. There's no more defilements left. What does it mean? It means, folks, does not mean that you're pure. It means that everything is pure. You see no more problems, folks. You see no more evil. You see no more good. No more evil. There's no evil at all. Even there is no goodness at all. Leave alone evil. That's purity. There's nothing at all. How can there be any evil? Or how can there be any good? Utmost purity is nothing at all. Okay? So, your victory is to say I'm victorious. The virtues embodied in this Buddha here is far surpasses the attainment of the two vehicles, who, according from their perspective, are very confused, are very deviant. You don't mind me putting it that way. It's so confused because what I've seen so far from the teachings and the practices of these Hinayana practitioners, they are so confused. Okay? And they yet don't realize it. Again, personally, the confusion, to me, the worst kind is not about you being stupid or you being not being able to understand. To me, the worst damage is when you feel content. You no longer seek to improve yourself. You think you know everything already. That's the most dangerous thing. That's the worst thing you can do to yourself. Think you know it all. Think you have it all figured out. Okay? If you have figured all of it out, okay, then you know already. Someone has come and certified that you figured it all out. If no one has certified it yet, then you haven't figured it out yet, folks. That's the nice thing about Mahayana. When you figure it out, Jasmine, they come to you and say, hey, Jasmine, congratulations. Okay, no diploma. Okay, nothing you can hang on the wall. But they say, I certify you. You figure it out. Has it happened yet? What is taking so long? 6 months already. Okay, 1084. Again, the past, the Buddha named jewel appearance, thus come one appear in the world. If a man or woman hears this Buddha's name and gives rise to the thought of respect, that person will before long attain the fruit of hardship. Jewel appearance, thus come one. Venerable Chuta, meaning this is a patriarch of the Tiantai school, very, very erudite. His teaching is very, very popular. He made significant contributions, and his attainment is incredible. He says that the true mark is venerated and honorable. Why call jewel appearance? True mark here is the true mark, meaning the true mark of all of everything. Okay. Jewel appearance. If you have attained the true mark here, why do you have to have a jewel appearance? Okay. That's only an analogy to say that when you say appearance, the Buddhas appear. Actually, they're not appearing. They're not coming and they're not going. The Dharma nature of the true mark is very honored and precious. That's why it's called jewel. Okay. The Vasha Sutra 1088, Vasha Sutra says that if there is a man who hears this sutra and gives rise to the mind of faith and purity that will produce true mark. Okay, you hear Vasha Sutra, you hear this sutra, not necessarily only Vasha Sutra. You hear this particular sutra and give rise to the mind of faith and purity that will produce true mark. Okay? Unfortunately, the mind of faith and purity here, the Vasha Sutra refers to, is not something you can produce yet. Therefore, you can't produce true mark yet. Otherwise, you'll be done already. This refers to, this is what makes me giggle, because I see so many of these monks and externalists spend a lifetime researching, even professors researching the meaning of Vasha Sutra. And this section is, I believe, I'm pure, therefore I must be able to produce true mark. This refers to the faith and the purity of a high-level cultivator who encounters this Dharma again and therefore brings forth a mind of faith, of sincerity, and reconnects him or her with the true mark again. It's not for everyone. But why is it mentioned in the sutra then? It mentions in the sutra so that we can plant the seeds to one day be able to do it. It's not meant to say that anyone can do it. You see, this is how people interpret this. It's that easy. All I have to do is hear the sutra and believe in it. Okay? Yes. It helps tremendously. It helps a lot. It helps a lot. But it takes many iterations before you're able to produce true mark. This refers to, by the way, this refers to the state of the six patriarchs. The six patriarchs, you remember his story? He was an illiterate, couldn't even read. And he was delivering wood. He was a wood gatherer. He was delivering wood to one of his patrons. And the man was, and on the way back, he walked by someone, and someone was reciting a passage, one sentence on the Vasha Sutra. It says, "Produce a mind that nowhere dwells." Hearing that, he became enlightened. By the way, that's not true mark yet. That's how difficult it is, folks. The case of 6th patriarch, hearing that one sentence. Okay, let me repeat it, see if you can have the same awakening. You should produce the mind and know what dwells. Yes. Are you awakened? Congratulations. I can't certify you, but yes, question. Yeah, promise. What I'm trying to tell you is even that verse right there, that even to a high level cultivator like the 6th patriarch, he has not produced true mark yet, by the way. Even then, when he met with the 5th patriarch, and the 5th patriarch brought him to his own room, and then covered up at 3 after midnight, right? Covered up both of them under his sash, so that he could explain to him the Dharma, transmit to him the secret Dharma, explain to him Vasha Sutra again. He became enlightened, the big enlightenment. Is that true mark? Not yet. Not even yet. Isn't it fascinating? The high-level cultivator still hasn't made it yet. And who are we to say, we read the sutra here, I read it 20 times already. With utmost sincerity. I must have been produced some kind of true mark already. No such luck. Why is that? The proof is that you haven't produced any true mark yet is because you're still attached to that something called true mark. Because if you produce true mark, then you are no longer attached to it. True mark is just no mark. But there's nothing without marks. That's why it's called true marks. Confusing, isn't it? True mark is no mark, and yet nothing is without mark. That's why it's called true mark. Memorize that. Someday you'll get it, just like Danny. That's a promise. Would you like me to repeat it for you? Yes. True mark is no mark. Yet nothing is without mark. Therefore, it's called true mark. True mark is no mark, yet nothing is without mark. Therefore, that's right. Do you get it? How about you, Jasmine, high-level cultivator? Huh? How about Mr. Danny Tsang? Experienced any awakening recently? I gave you research work on the quote of patriarchs. That guy, that Yongming Chanshi, I mean, he's Amitabha Buddha. It's funny because that guy he quoted from this patriarch, Amitabha Buddha. He said, I understand what he's talking about. You know, if you understand what he's talking about, Yongming Chanshi, who is the 6th Pure Land patriarch, who's actually a transformation body, Amitabha Buddha, by the way. Okay, he left what's left on his teaching is three books in Chinese. I have yet to see any type of translation of the 3 books in Chinese. Okay? So I was curious that if this is the transformation body of Amitabha Buddha, therefore his teaching must be something else, right? So I got ambitious, I got greedy. I read it. Would you like to get it? I have 3 copies. I borrowed 3 those books from a library, went to the copy center, and copied every single page. So I have my own copy, so I could research it. Okay? So far, so good. When the time came, I opened my books, my copies. I read 2 pages, and my white smoke was coming up the top of my head. Just 2 pages. I could not take it. This is a Pure Land teacher who taught about
about cultivation. Couldn't take it. It is so advanced. Let me put it this way to pacify you a little bit, to give you a feeling, feel what it's like. If you understand the Shrangama Sutra, okay, then you may be able to read these 3 books. Because that's the first step before you can read these 3 books. No translation whatsoever. No one understands it. How many people, I ask you, how many people can claim that he or she understands the Shrangama Sutra? Raise your hand. I ask if the whole world, how many of you can claim you understand Shrangama Sutra? I can tell you, I don't dare claim I understand the Shrangama Sutra. It's that's the part you don't understand, that this Yumen Chang show keeps on referring to. This part where the part you don't understand, that's the starting point for his teachings. Yeah, not this lifetime. I can tell you flat out. Too late. You need to cross your legs for a long, long time. Yeah, you might. You might. You never know, right? Yeah. Anyway, so and from the true mark, you have the 2 dharmas, the sudden and gradual, and the 3 paths, and the 4 fruitions, and they all produce from a true mark. The true mark is the mother source, everything on this dharma realm. Okay? Any questions? So, if you hear of this Buddha's name, okay? Jewels appearance thus come one. Speaking of jewels, in the Flower Adornment Sutra, and we're on slide 1089, Flower Adornment Sutra says that in the great seas, there are 4 great jewels: the sun store, the apart from moisture, the fire pearl, and ultimately no surplus jewels. Okay, these are for real. Okay, and without these 4 jewels, the 4 continents, and the heaven where we live right now, up to the heavens and no thought and not non-thought, will be underwater. Okay, so try and explain that to the scientists. It's more than building a what is it? What is it in New Orleans? The core engineer, what do they build? Yeah, the levees, more than levees can humans can conceive of. Okay, these are the spiritual levees that the gods and the bodhisattvas bring to our world to protect us. Okay, priceless jewels. And they represent the 4 kinds of wisdoms. The sun store jewel symbolizes the great perfect mirror wisdom. I'm repeating this and bringing it up to help you plant the seeds for you to create affinities with these concepts. Okay, don't try to understand too much. Okay, and it's meant to give you the exposure, plant the seeds, and for you to bring forth the faith when they mature. Questions? Okay, so the first jewel it's called jewel because it's a great value, and the great value here, the sun store refers to the great perfect mirror wisdom. What is the great perfect mirror wisdom, Danny? You probably know. 大眼睛智, yes. What is that exactly? You know what's precious in this world, right? Jasmine will tell you it's probably sapphire for her, or a faultless diamond ring, right? That's a jewel. Okay, that's a small jewel. The great jewel you can find in this world is called the great perfect mirror wisdom. What is that? Anyone knows? Why is it called great perfect mirror wisdom? The great perfect mirror wisdom is a wisdom that is like a mirror. Like a perfect mirror. Not only a mirror, it's a perfect mirror. Not only a perfect mirror, it's the biggest perfect mirror you can ever find. Is it clear? What is the biggest perfect mirror supposed to do?
Supposed to reflect perfectly. So I assume that it's supposed to understand every aspect.
Okay. Yes, Jasmine, what does a great perfect mirror do? Huh? You see the truth about you, and you can see the kind of hair pore you have on your face. I'm kidding. You know how women, they have a magnifying mirror, or gives you a higher, a more magnified reflection in your face, so you know where to apply the makeup. Is that how it's done? I'm assuming. I never used one. So my ex-wife used to be hang around in front of the mirror, so that's what I noticed. Okay, especially like before going to a wedding banquet. Oof, 2 hours at least. And then dieting for a month ahead of time to get into that skinny dress. Anyway, great perfect mirror. Let me explain to you. See, these concepts bothered me. It was really bothering me for a long time. The Buddhas, when he used these terms, okay, trying to tell us something wonderful about us. Okay? Mirror, what does a mirror do? Reflects, right? Whatever you throw at it, it reflects. So far, so good. Can you do that? No, you can't. Whatever you give me, I give it back to you. Unaltered. That's why it's called perfect. See, whatever I give Kim right now, Kim gives it back to you, but says, I don't like this. Or I like this, right? Therefore, it's not perfect. Whatever you return to me, Kim, is not perfect because you add something to it already. Agree? Not me, right, Kim? I'm perfect, so okay. Maybe not always, but sometimes. That's what happens to us, right? It's not perfect because we alter the molecular structures of whatever we return. Agree? The perfect mirror reflects everything back to whatever they are. So, like Jathan said, so that you can see the true reflection, your true reflection. All right? Why is it called great? Think about it. If you have a mirror this size, can it reflect the city of Los Angeles? No, it can't. If you put it, it only reflects only part of the city of Los Angeles, right? You need to have a little bit bigger mirror. What about, can you reflect a big mirror big enough to reflect the city of Los Angeles? Can it reflect the Earth? No, it can't. And that's the wonderful thing about this mirror. It is limitless in size. Great means really limitless. It can reflect any object size. You can put any object in front of it. No matter how big, no matter how small, it can reflect all of it back. It is true reflection. So far, so good? That's great, perfect mirror. So far, so good. Okay? You will not find this kind of explanation anywhere. I read, and see, it bothered the heck out of me. I read Master Shenhua's explanation of all these things. And I could not find, why is that called? For my goodness sake. Why is it a great, perfect mirror? Okay? Now you add wisdom. What does wisdom do? Wisdom means you're able. We can't right now. But these beings, they can. While we cannot. Yes, Danny? Why not? Because as long as we have confusion, as long as we have things that are clear in our mind, okay, whatever is reflected of us loses light. Therefore, reflection is not perfect. The wisdom is that it is perfected so that everything is reflected, truly reflected. Nothing is added, nothing is subtracted. All right. Wonderful observing wisdom. What is that? Wonderful observing wisdom is the wonderful observing meaning, okay, observe meaning you're able to see. Wonderful is what? Wonderful existence. You're able to see the entire existence. Nothing can be kept away from you. You see, you say, I want my privacy, right? I mean, there's so much. I'm willing to tell you, I need my privacy, I need my private life. Would you have this kind of wisdom? You have, people cannot keep things away from you anymore. Okay? Meaning, it can observe. It can observe all the externals. Okay? You can sit here and you say, okay, I wonder what happens in New York. You can know what happens in New York. I wonder what happens in what Maitreya Bodhisattva is doing right now. You can see it. So far, so good? Okay. And what is this equal nature wisdom? Equal nature wisdom is the wisdom, the ability to no longer differentiate, discriminate. It doesn't say, I like women better than I like men, or men better than women. I like a dog more than I like a cat. Because they still are not equal. Okay? We still discriminate. So this wisdom here, equal nature, meaning everything is equal. No high or low. Yeah, isn't it? We go to school, we undertake training so that we can discriminate better, right? Discern better. Our society values discernment, values accuracy in our discernment. Okay? Just like my grandmother, my late grandmother, she says, don't underestimate me. I may be an old woman, but if a fly flies by, I can tell it's male or female. This is their generation like to speak, right? Is that what your mother says too? Right? Very famous quote with the Vietnamese elderly. I can tell if a fly is male or female. It's so sharp, it's so wise, right? No equal nature wisdom. They pride themselves on discerning. Okay? Does it mean you don't discern? Let me ask this clearly. If you have the equal nature wisdom, do you discern or not? Can you tell it's male or female? Of course you can. You don't care. No, you're interested. What do you mean you're not interested? It's always interesting to look at stupid people. They're comical. Really? No. It's your discriminating mind is trying to find discrimination. Okay. Just because it's comical does not mean you're discriminating. You can flip over and say they're boring because it's the same thing over and over again. Okay, so you're able to discriminate, but yet you're not attached to that understanding. And this is why the worldly knowledge is slightly off, because it's not bad to discriminate. Okay, it is bad to attach to the ability to discriminate. Is it clear? See, this is what we cannot let go. The ability, the attachment to that ability. Nothing wrong with going to school, by the way. I'm not saying we should not go and get an education, get an MBA or get a degree, okay? Or learn how to play the guitar, okay? Nothing wrong with the knowledge. It's the attachment to that knowledge. It's bad. It's very, very bad. Nothing wrong being an engineer. I like engineers deep down. I think. Well, let me think about it a while. Okay? But the attachment to the pride in being an engineer or the attachment to the importance of being an engineer is wrong. Okay? Engineers are no more important than doctors, no more important than gardeners. They have their own roles. Okay? Finally, what to be done wisdom, what is that? Accomplishing what is what must be done. What is that?
It says what it is. It's a wisdom which accomplishes anything that accomplishes what needs to be done.
Okay. What is it like? Yes. Yes, Jasper says, if you have the wisdom, prove it to me. Show me, can you give me a detailed chart of what, the flow chart of you start at point A and you go to point B, C, D until I get to Z, right? Can you do that?
Yes, of course. Otherwise, how can you call accomplishing what is to be done? Of course you can. Okay. The wonderful thing about this gem here, this jewel here, this knowledge here, the wisdom here, is that you just know. You cannot explain it. You just know. What I'm referring to is that the knowledge you prize is the ability to explain and to justify, right? To describe. Whereas the accomplishing what needs to be done, what is to be done, means that you just know what to do at that moment. You see, because once you put it down on paper, it changes the next time you look at it again. See, people like the planners, the managers, they put it down on paper, they stuck on that path. They lose the flexibility to respond, to accord with conditions. Whereas this wisdom here says, you ask me today, I tell you what to do. Tomorrow, I can't guarantee it's the same thing. But I get there. Why is it so valuable? You have total freedom, folks. You're not committed to any path. You're committed to the best path, the best pathways possible at that time. That is what Buddhism we call optimal. Optimal in all times. Optimal as you learn it is only at planning times. See a difference in knowledge. See, you went to business school and you go to business school, that's what we learn to optimize, right? You say, I sit here, let's get together, optimize the best way to get there. Okay? That's fine, but that's not optimal. This is optimal. Any questions? All right. 1090.
You didn't finish that slide.
Did I? Did I not?
Without these four jewels and four continents under heaven, no thought would be submerged under the water.
Yeah, that's a protection that from these gems that provide to the world.
So these gems are the water repelling pearl.
Yes. It's a pearl as well, but the world has many gems, and one of them is called the water repelling pearl, and that repels the water, and also there are other pearls as well that are of great values to us, of great benefit to us. Okay. (1090) again, limitless some aeons ago, a Buddha named Kashyapa Banner, thus come one, appear in the world. If a man or woman hears this Buddha's name, a person will overcome the offenses of birth and death for 100 great aeons. Kashyapa Banner, where Kashyapa is a sash that used as a banner. The sash that left home people use actually is
I like to think of them as their design as a shield. Not only us, but you as well. The sashes we use as basically as shields. Okay, the shields and they're designed to give us protection. And when our opponent, our opposition sees the sash and these sash, they do not come near us or dare to attack. Okay, so for example, the people who receive the 5 precepts and happen to buy a precept sash, when you meditate, you put on the sash, you will notice that if you pay attention, you notice that your sit is a lot easier than if you would not otherwise put on a sash. Okay, keeps away a set of troublemakers. Okay. Now, if you hear this Kashyapa banner, does come one. This is why this particular chapter is designed. Is why this is spoken by the Buddha. Just to hear of these names, that all these great benefits. Now you know why, for example, even though a lot of people they brought faith in this particular sutra here, and they recite this Earth Store Sutra very often, every single day, few times a day, three times or more a day, okay, for many years. And eventually, they build up great affinity, build their samadhi power, and whenever they recite the sutra, they, whether it's loudly or mentally, okay, all living beings who are around the area benefit greatly from it because of these names. By the way, this particular chapter 9 here has all these names. When this person recites, this sutra and go through this section here. Okay, these names are being heard all around by the living beings around us, and therefore they obtain great benefit. So, for example, when you recite a sutra and for your friend there, okay, he's obtaining all these benefits. By the way, you're planting all these seeds in you. And that's all we can do. That's our best. That's your best. And when these seeds mature, they mature. It's beyond your control. And that's what you can do. This is why the people who recite these sutras, the people who bring forth, whose Dharma door is recite the Earth Store Sutra, they usually are often asked by the ghosts and spirits to help recite on their behalf. That's how wonderful the Dharma is. This is why a lot of people Asian people recite the Earth Store Sutra every day. Okay? And so hearing this Kashyapa banner, thus come on, name, passing through your hearing organ, can eradicate multitudes of offenses and produce all sorts of blessings and virtues. Okay. So aeons here refers to the great aeons. That's a long time. Okay. Time is up, so I like to stop here. If you have unless you have any questions. Okay. And we stop here today because we need to clean up and wrap things up and lock things up. Because anyone staying here tonight? You're not driving back, are you? You want to stay here? Please. You want to hang out with your nephew and niece, eh? Nieces, eh? Yeah. I know what you're up to.
So we wrap it up right here, and we can close up and lock things up. Because tomorrow we're coming back. Well, some of us are coming back anyway. Okay? Transfers. So, we're not talking about Dennis Hopper, but also this boy here, huh? Is a boy or girl?
Who, Charlie?
Yeah.
He's a boy.
He's a boy. Hey, boy. You hear, you have all these Buddha's name. That's how he's getting too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why he's here.
Hey, boy. You like to stop the recording here, Danny, or? Is it stop? Yeah, okay.